Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mathilde, I'm a French beginner knitter, and today I'm going to talk about my knitting intentions and the 9 garments that I want to make in 2024. So hi, if you're new here, my name is Mathilde, and if you're a returning viewer, thank you for joining again. Today I wanted to talk about what my knitting intentions are for 2024. They are not necessarily goals, but just things that I want to think about during 2024. And then I'll tell you about 9 garments that I want to make this year for myself. I won't necessarily make all of them if I don't have the time, or maybe if I find other garments that I want to make. Maybe I'm only going to talk about sweaters, I think. Yeah, only sweaters and 1 cardigan, but I won't talk about any summer knits because I think I will make some of them, but I really want to include more sweaters into my wardrobe. That's one thing that I learned last year, because that was my first year of knitting. I didn't knit a lot, so I only had 2 finished sweaters at the end of the year, and yeah, I feel like I'm missing a lot of sweaters, and there are a lot of patterns that I want to make, and so I think summer knitting, I'll definitely make some of them, but they won't be my priority. So yeah, I've got my knitting journal right here that I've purchased. I mean, it's just a regular notebook, kind of the one that you can buy to make a bullet journal, but I want to make it I want to use it for my knitting. So and I have written up my 6 intentions on there. So the first one is that I really want to be more intent on my knitting, and what that means is I really want to be careful about the patterns that I choose to knit this year, because I want to knit, sweaters that I will actually wear, that will fit into my wardrobe. So not just in the shaping, but also the colors that I choose to make them in, the yarn that I choose. So yeah, I don't want to, even right now, I know that I get pretty overwhelmed by pretty pictures on Instagram and Pinterest, and even on Ravelry. I get pulled into trends even though they're not necessarily my type. Like, I know that red is a really popular color at the moment, but it's not something that I like to wear, and even now I'm like, maybe I could make a red beanie, but I know that once the trend is over, I probably won't wear it, so I have to, really be careful on not hopping on any trends just because it's a trend and not something that I will actually wear. But I don't not want to get into trends anyway, because sometimes that might actually get me out of my comfort zone, and maybe I'll find something that I'll wear. So it's going to be a balance to find, but I just want to take, my time, which is actually my second intention of the year. So I want to enjoy the process of knitting. Even right now, I've got plans, not even about the patterns that I want to make, but like the whips that are on my needles. I'm like, well, I want to finish this one by this date, and I want to do that one by that date, but that's not how knitting works, at least for me. I want to take my time, enjoy the process. Knitting is a slow craft for most people. Some people are really fast, which, I kind of wish I was, but knitting is slow, and that's fine. So I probably won't be able to make all of the ideas and garments that I want to make this year, but that's fine. Also, I think because of this podcast here on YouTube, I find that it's giving me, but it's a pressure that I put on myself, but I want to bring content that's, new to you, so I'm like, oh, I have to finish this sweep by this podcast, otherwise I won't have any finished objects to show, or I'll have shown this sweep for like 3 months and that's really long. So I know that I do love making YouTube videos and I love sharing my knitting, and it's kind of me having a step into the knitting community, which is something that I really like. But I do have to be careful not to have that push me to make too many garments or too quick, although I'm still slow. Yeah, and then the third knitting intention is to learn more techniques. Because last year was my first year of knitting, I, learned short row shaping, German short rows. I learned basic top-down sweater constructions. I learned double knitting. I learned brioche. So I learned a few things here and there, but I really want to try to learn color work, cables and lace, which I've never done before, and I don't want to choose patterns just because they have cables or just because they have lace, but I really want to find some that I will actually like and wear. But I love textured patterns, and I love, some... I mean, I don't think I would go too out there with colours, but I do like when there are fun coloured patterns. And also just because I'm really curious and I really like to learn, and so I want to understand what techniques or designs, which ones are for me and which one I like seeing but maybe not on myself. So that's also one of my intention. Maybe I won't learn all 3, maybe I will only learn 1 or 2, we shall see, but I would really like to learn more. The fourth intention that I have for this year is to understand how gauge and yarn weights work. It's something that I really struggle with still. I've started to make like a little a table or like notes about yarn weight, so I think I'm starting to understand a bit more, but I'm still struggling with like the way gauge swatch works and what that means for the yarn that you're using, with the yarn weight that you're using. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but yeah, I mean, so far, touch wood, I've not had any issue with sizing. I've managed to make garments that I can actually wear, except for one, but that wasn't a sizing issue, that's just the binder that was too tight, so I can't put it over my head, but I will fix it. I will. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'll link my Everything I Knit in 2023 video in which I show you. But yeah, I just want to understand what I'm doing. I found that at the beginning of knitting I didn't really understand, or I couldn't figure out how knit stitches and purl stitches looked, like what they looked like. And so if I had made a mistake, I couldn't just go back and fix it because I didn't really understand what I was doing. And once that clicked, obviously it became much easier to unravel and start again. So yeah, I just want to understand. And then the fifth intention is that... Is that the fifth? Oh yeah. It is the fifth. The fifth intention is that I want to be more involved in the knitting community. I would really like to attend a knit night or a knit date, either virtual or I would really love to go to one in person, but I don't really know if there's any in Paris. There probably is, so I'll try to dip my toes into that. I'm someone that's quite introvert and shy, so we shall see how that goes. I would really like one of my best friends to learn to knit, because they're really crafty people. They sew, and one of them makes origami. and you know, another one paints. So I would really like for them, one of them, to take up knitting, but I mean, it's fine if they don't. I don't think they enjoy how slow of a craft it is, which I can understand, but I would love for one of them to do that so that we can like call each other up and knit and chat at the same time. That would be lovely. But I would also really like to, you know, talk to other people. I think this YouTube channel does allow me to do that up to a point. I can talk to some of you in the comments, but you know, it's comments, so it's quite of a short conversation. But I would really like to chat more, you know, on Instagram or wherever. So if you're someone who, like me, want to get more into or talk to more knitting people, do let me know. Send me a DM on Instagram. I would love that. Oh yeah, that's my fifth intention, and the last one is that I want to think twice before making a gift knit. I'm someone who really likes to gift gifts to people in my life, and I find that knitting a gift is something that's particularly enjoyable because it's something handmade, but it takes a lot out of me. So because I put pressure on myself, you know, for the finished object to be perfect, for if I have deadline. So for example, for Christmas I had intended to do 3 or 4 gift knits, and I ended up finishing only 2 of them out of the 4. And I think, first of all, because of the deadline, it really stressed me out, and then it meant that I could only mostly work on gift knits, and I don't want to do that. I want to knit things for myself mostly, because yeah, knitting is for me most of all. So for all of that, but also I think if I do want to gift knit in 2024, I want to do it only if the person who will receive the gift knows about it, helps me choose the pattern so that I know that they will wear it. I mean, so far all of the gift knits that I've made, I think were worn by the people, but it can be, I can understand if they wouldn't, because they didn't choose the yarn, they didn't choose the color, they didn't choose the patterns. So that's something that I want to do now. And I don't want to have a set deadline. So for example, 2 people in my life have asked me to make them garments. One of them was one of my best friends. She's a Swiftie, she really loves Taylor Swift, and she asked me to make her a Folklore cardigan. So that's something that I really want to make, because she's asked me herself that she wants that. I'm a bit scared of that pattern, to be honest. First of all, because there are cables, and as I have said before, I've never done cables before, but also just because it's not a top-down or bottom-up construction. It's knitted flat, and then you seam the pieces together, and that's something that I don't think I will enjoy that much, but I really want to make it for her because I love her, and I want to make something that she will, I know that she will absolutely love it if I can manage to finish it correctly. And her birthday is in June, and for example, she's going to the Taylor Swift concert in Paris in May. So ideally, I would say I want to make this for you for around that time. But I told her I will make it for you in 2024, but I won't tell you when I'll finish it because I don't know. Maybe it will take me like 4 months to do it, just because I want to knit on some things for myself at the same time. So yeah, so I won't tell her a deadline for it, but I will ask her to choose the yarn with me. She's already given me the Lions brand pattern, but I think I will use the Amy Gunderson patterns that Knits by Mandy used, because it's more size inclusive. I I don't think that one is free, but I think for that reason I don't mind paying. So yeah, and then the second person that I want to knit for is my partner. He's asked me to make him a sweater, and I really want to make that for him, so we've chosen the pattern together. It's going to be the Zipper Sweater Man by PetiteKnit. He really wants a raglan sweater that's quite chunky, and I think that's about the only one that I could find. I think I will knit this one towards the end of the year, but honestly I think that's gonna be it for the gift knits. I might make accessories, maybe one summer top for someone because she's asked, but I think that's already quite a lot of gift knitting, and as I said, it's my second year of knitting now and I really want to knit things for myself. So let's just dive into the 9 garments that I want to make for myself. The first one is the sweater number 18 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, which is an oversized top-down drop shoulder sweater with a lot of texture. It's got a boxy fit with around 25 to 30 centimeters of positive ease, and I've already swatched for it. So I won't talk about like all of the sweaters that I'm going to mention. I don't have the yarn for them yet, but I do have some yarn for some of them. So this, I haven't wet blocked this yet because I've only done it last night, but this is my swatch. And I'm gonna use Heavy Merino by Knitting for Olive in the colorway Cream, with Soft Silk Mohair in the colorway Cream by Knitting for Olive as well. And it's mostly the recommended yarn. I think she recommends another yarn for the iron weight, but I don't think I can have that where I am. So she does, like, the second yarn recommendation is the Heavy Merino. So I'm holding this together. I really like the feeling of it, and I love this texture. I think I would have liked it to be a bit more beige, but white is fine. And I've actually cast it on yesterday evening, so I've not wet blocked this, so maybe I'll have to frog everything, but I was just too eager. I really want this finished bit, so that's one that I will definitely have. Oh, by the way, I haven't mentioned, but I'll definitely have more than 9, just because I've got 2 sweaters on my needles at the moment. One that I'm so close to finishing, and the second one, I've got good progress on it, so I already know that I will finish it, and I'm really excited about it. And if you're curious about what those are, I've talked about them in my last knitting podcast, so I'll put that one there, and I'll film my next knitting podcast in 2 weeks. So for you it will be 2 weeks, so be sure to check it out if you're interested. The second garment that I want to make this year is the, probably I'm going to butcher that name, but the Bepeu, pronouncing it the French way, Bepeu Blouse by Aegyoknit. So it is a top-down drop shoulder sweater, like a V-neck. It's got a slit in the cuffs, which is something that I really like and that I don't have yet, and that I don't think is in the other patterns that I want to make. And it's got about 30 centimeters of positive ease, and it uses DK weight yarn. So I've contemplated making the Elizabeth Blouse by PetiteKnit, which has the same sort of shaping, but it's got only 6 centimeters of positive ease, and it uses a sport weight yarn, or I think at least the gauge is sport weight. As I said, I'm not quite sure how gauge and yarn weights work, so maybe I'm saying complete rubbish right now. Hopefully not. But yeah, I think I like the Elizabeth blouse. I like that it's a bit more fitted, but when I look at them side by side, I think the one that you know, inspires me the most is the Bepeu blouse. So maybe I'll choose the Elizabeth blouse in the end. I don't know. I have to think about which one will fit more into my wardrobe. I think all of the sweaters that I'm making have quite a lot of positive ease, and usually that's not something that I like, but we shall see. Maybe I'll actually, this is a store-bought cashmere sweater, and this one has quite a bit of positive ease, so I might, but I really like it, so I might take the size measurement, bust size measurement of this one to see how much positive ease I like in my sweaters. The third sweater that I want to make, I'm really excited about, is the Alder sweater by Rebecca Clow. So again, I've got the yarn for that, which is this. But first I'll talk more about the pattern itself. It is a top-down raglan mosaic sweater, I think is what it's called, because it's got an all-over slip stitch in 2 colors. So you only knit like a couple of rows in one color and then a couple more rows in another color, and that's the pattern repeat. But you never hold the 2 colors together. I think it's a good way for me to dive my toes into color work, even though I won't learn any floats or anything, but it just means that I can, you know, learn without being too scared of it, although I'm still a bit scared of that one. This sweater has got 2 to 10 centimeters of positive ease, and it is using DK weight yarn, and the one that I'm going to use is Penelope by Derurum Natura, and the white colorway is Orgea, and the blue is Brume, which is like fog. And the blue is my main color, and the white will be my contrast color. And I'm really excited to see how this works out. I've had the yarn for about a week, I think, but I don't actually have the needle that you need to use it for. So it's using a 3.75mm needle, and I've got all of the other sizes, but I don't have that one. So I've ordered it and it's not come yet, and I really can't wait to make my swatch. So again, this is going to be a really soon to be cast on knit, so I'll definitely, hopefully, if I can manage to finish it, have this by the end of the year. The fourth sweater that I want to make is the Storm sweater by PetiteKnit. So the Storm sweater is a top-down textured drop shoulder sweater. Again, I love my texture. It's got a double folded collar and 26 centimeters of positive ease. And my vision for this is, she posted a picture of one of her daughters wearing her adult Storm sweater, and it was really, you know, oversized, and she was on the beach, and it was, I don't have a daughter, I don't want to do that for my daughter. I mean, if I have one, maybe, you know, she'll steal this from me, but what my vision is me going to Brittany in the summer, because my grandmother has a house there, so I go there as often as I can because I love that place. It's one of my favorite places in the world, and I just really see myself, you know, after a swim in the sea, putting this oversized sweater that's going to be really cozy, and then going home, sitting by the fire. This is my vision. I think this is going to be one of the sweaters that I knit on during the summer, even though it will probably be really hot to knit, but I think I will make that one. The recommended yarn is Pierkins, and I'm thinking about using it, but I don't know how it feels against the skin, and I'm quite scared. The last yarn that I purchased was Isager, except for the ones that I've just shown you, but it's Isager Iron Tweed, and it's a really rustic yarn, and I feel like that one I won't be able to wear it against my skin, and I'm kind of scared that the Bergant is similar to that. I don't think it's quite as rustic, but yeah, let me know in the comments if you've used Bergant before. How do you find it? Because I feel like it's not that expensive. It's less expensive than some Sandnes garn yarns. So I'm kind of interested in that, but I'm scared about the feeling of it. Anyway, I digress. Okay, let's talk about the 5th sweater that I want to make, and that is the Eira sweater by November Knits. This is a top-down raglan with a rib knit texture, so it's got 3 knit stitches and 2 purl stitches, and it's got a double folded collar, which is something that I love, and a wide rib edge cuffs, so like it's a bit tighter, like a tighter rib around the cuffs of the sleeves. It's got about 15 centimeters of positive ease, and it uses a light fingering weight yarn. I think this is just a staple piece in the wardrobe. I don't know yet which yarn I will use, but I'll definitely make it in a neutral color, I think, or like a navy maybe, which is I think in her sample pictures she's got a navy one and a white one, and I might actually make a black one. Am I crazy? Probably. We shall see. It won't be in the near future, so I still have time. The 6th pattern that I want to make, I'm really excited about, but also terrified of, and it is the Porcelain sweater by Lene Holme Samsøe, or I think LeKnit. Probably butchering her name, I'm sorry about that. But it is a top-down, if you've not seen it, because it's everywhere, but it is a top-down colorwork sweater that's got some positives, I think, but it doesn't say how much in the pattern description, and it uses a DK weight, so I think it's like a fingering and a lace together, and it's just stunning. I think I would like to make that one in a cream and either a green or a brown or brownish color. I don't want to make it in a blue and white because first of all I've already got my Alder sweater in that colorways, but also just because that's the one that's the most popular. I like that it's called porcelain because it kind of looks like porcelain, table plates. So I feel like the green would work for that, but I already have a sweater with white and green stripes. So in a way I'm like, should I do that? That's just going to be another one like that. So that's why I'm kind of leaning towards the brown. But Olivia and Oliver Fibers, who is in handy dyer from the Netherlands, I think, is going to publish her collection, like her February collection, which is called Endless Autumn, and the colorways are absolutely stunning, and I want to buy all of them. But what I'm thinking is buying one of her green colorways. Don't remember the name of it, but I'll pop a picture of the collection. I'm thinking of buying one of the greens to make the colorwork sections for the porcelain sweater, because I don't think you use that much yardage for that. So I think there will be a nice pop of color, but still really, really lovely. So that's why I'm thinking, but we shall see. And then the 7th sweater that I want to make is the Cargill sweater by Rebecca Clow. That one is just absolutely stunning. I've been dreaming about it for about a month now. So it is a top-down raglan with a dip stitch pattern, and as most of her pattern, it's got only 2 to 7 centimeters of positives, and it uses DK weight, so I think it's again fingering and lace together. I've already got the pattern, and that's one that I want to make in the spring. I'm unsure about the colors that I want to make that in, I think a blue would look so good, but I've already got so many blues garments in the works. I kind of want a neutral cream one, but again, I've got some of that. So I don't know which colorway I'll go for, but it just, I think it's stunning, and I think it will be a more involved knit and something that I'm really excited to learn. So that's the 7th, and then we're nearing the end. The 8th pattern that I want to make is the No Frills cardigan by PetiteKnit. So it is a top-down raglan, raglan, a long cardigan with rib edges. Hopefully it's not double knitting. I don't think it is, because I would die. I won't do it. Anyway, it's got about 27 centimeters of positive ease, and it's one that I've been thinking about for about a year. I think it's going to be a really lovely cardigan to wear around the house, mostly because I do want to make it in white or cream, I think. So I don't want to make it too dirty too quickly by wearing it outside, but I think it's just going to be so nice. Again, I'm thinking about using the recommended yarn, so it's Tin Peer-Gynt and Tin Silk Mohair, I think, by Senna's Garn. One of the reasons why I want to use Tin Peer-Gynt is because it's sort of cheap. I think it's only like €5.50 a skein or a ball. And since this is a long cardigan, it's going to use a lot of yarn. But again, I'm kind of scared that it's going to be a bit scratchy, and since it is a sweater that or a cardigan that I will mostly wear around the house, I think I want this to be like, I don't want to have to wear a long sleeve underneath it. So again, if you've used that one before, do tell me how much you like or don't like it. But I will use it with the mohair. So I think I will cast it on around the end of winter, around spring, but I know that it's going to be a long knit, so I'm not too worried about that. And then the last one that I want to make is the Chantal sweater by Morecaknit. It's not out yet. I think it's in testing, but I've stumbled upon the picture on Instagram and I just fell in love with it. But also there's a personal thing attached to it. Chantal is the name of my mother. My mother passed away when I was 19, and I just think I mean, I know it's stupid, but I really love the pattern itself, and I think it would be really nice to make it. So from what I can see from the picture, again, I haven't been able to find any information about it, so maybe what I'm saying is completely wrong, but what I think is, it looks like either a saddle shoulder or a contiguous construction. So I think it's when you start directly by knitting in the round, but it's basically going to be kind of like a saddle shoulder, but actually a drop shoulder. But then here it goes into raglan. I think it looks like something like that. It's got a 2x2 rib collar and a tiny, maybe 2 centimeters, 1 inch of ribbing at the bottom of the body. On the picture that I've screenshotted, I think it's got the sleeves rolled up, so I can't see the ribbing at the sleeves, but I'm gonna guess that it's the same as the body. But yeah, it just looks, the fabric, I think it's not 1x1 rib or the body. I think it looks like maybe twisted rib or something similar, maybe fisherman rib, I'm not sure. But it just looks really squishy, and I think it would be such a stunning sweater to have in my wardrobe. So that's it for what I want to make. It's a lot. Probably won't be able to make all of them. I think I am dreaming, but it's lovely to dream. This is going to be like my first full year of knitting, so I might actually, get a lot of things done, hopefully. But yeah, if you want to see what that looks like, be sure to subscribe so that you can see my knitting podcast. I try to upload bi-monthly, so like every 2 weeks. I'm excited about this. As I've said, I've already got like 1 or 2 sweaters that on my needles that I'm really excited about, and I'm hoping to get one really soon. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.